Hello, everybody. I'm Bryan,
And I'm Bryan.
and this is Bryan versus Bryan, episode 20. Today, we're going to talk about Tenet, Christopher Nolan, sci-fi-esque espionage thriller. And so this movie was a big what's what because of the way it was released. And, I felt like I was constantly hearing something about Tenet, right? Like, oh, Tenet's going to be in theaters again, or Tenet's going to do this. And but then finally we get it on video on demand and Blu-ray. So I'm glad I was able to see it. Knee-jerk reaction is that I liked it.
Yeah, that's kind of mine. I really liked it. I don't know if I loved it, but I really liked it. Yeah, I was kind of worried because when it came out, or whenever critics were able to see it, a lot of the reviews were. I mean, I didn't read any reviews. I just saw like headlines that say, Tenet releases with mixed reviews, or mixed reviews for Tenet or something.
Yeah.
So my excitement kind of went down a point or two, because sometimes that's not a good sign. And sometimes it doesn't matter. You like what you like. So yeah, I was kind of intrigued to jump into it, and I still, until last night, I hadn't seen any trailer. Didn't know what the movie was about. The only thing I knew was it was a Christopher Nolan movie that had Robert Pattinson and Denzel's son. Is it John Washington? I forget his name. But I just knew that they were in it, and I knew that I had a vague notion that had to do with time, which, for a Nolan movie, that's not too much of a plot spoiler. I think he messes with time a lot. Hey, kitty. So I kind of went in pretty fresh, and yeah, I really liked it. There's some things I didn't like, but I think overall I enjoyed my 2.5 hours with it.
Right on. Yeah, I did. That's Denzel's son, the protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the name of the character in this movie, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know if I was a fan of that.
I didn't realize that until I watched the special features, that we never got his name.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep talking about the protagonist. I was like, that's the character's name? That's weird.
Yeah, when he says it a few times, and every time I said it, I'm like, that's a little on the nose, don't you think? But yeah, I guess it's just his name in the movie. John David Washington. That's his name. But yeah,
that guy was good. I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
He must not have done much before this, because I've never seen him before, and so it's nice to have someone that is good, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Usually when you don't know somebody, it's not. I don't know. It doesn't feel very good.
I'd seen him in a couple things. I started watching the HBO show Ballers. Not a great show, but he's in it. And I think, he was also in Spike Lee's Black Klansman. He was the main character. So I've seen him a few times. But I think this is definitely his probably biggest movie he's done.
Yeah, he was pretty. He seemed like a pretty good, like, James Bond type character. Mm-hmm. He's charismatic and makes you like him. By the end, you're definitely rooting for him. So what about that beginning, man? We were just talking about the other day. That beginning of this movie is one of the epic movie beginnings of all time. It reminded me of Dark Knight. How you just go into this crazy, awesome set piece to start it off, which is a kind of a dangerous thing to do, because it can make the rest of your movie seem boring.
Yeah.
When you do that. But obviously, the ending is crazy too. So it's kind of bookends the whole movie with these crazy set pieces. I think I might like the beginning set piece more than the very end. But
yeah, I agree. I think the opening, like, first 7 minutes or so are so engrossing, and it just sucks you right in. I don't even know what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I don't know if you had this issue, but the audio mix on the Blu-ray felt weird in the sense that I think all of the noises overpowered dialogue. So I think for the first 30 minutes of this movie, it was hard to understand what people were saying. And I actually ended up watching the rest of the movie with subtitles. I had to, like, grab the remote and watch the movie with subtitles. But yeah, I had no idea what the fuck he was doing. He was there to grab somebody and didn't go well. I don't know. But anyways, regardless, yeah, the first 5 to 7 minutes is really, really good. And the score just fucking pumps
booming
in and gets you right in. Yeah.
scores there to obliterate any dialogue you may need to hear. Yeah, it was so sick. It just immediately starts when they're like, wake the American, they got the, I don't know what was, obviously they're in like Russia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like some orchestra and it's like a terrorist attack on this amphitheater. And the Russian like SWAT pulls up and they're already there in a van waiting, and they see the SWAT pull out, so they know who's there. So they have all these like SWAT patches, and they pick the appropriate patch and put it on their. It was pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were, from what I get, is originally he was CIA. It's this movie. First of all, is why we're saying I think, because this movie's plot is fucking ridiculous. I can't make heads or tails of it, really.
Yeah.
I think I have a grasp on it now that I've watched it twice and watched the making of features in the Blu-ray. But man, I thought Inception was bad, or not bad, but it's good. I like having these questions about a movie. It makes it pretty cool. But I thought Inception was crazy, but I feel like I grasp Inception pretty damn well compared to this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and so what I get is when he was CIA and he's there because he goes into that room and talks to that guy and he says the code word and the guy says it back and he says, "You've been made." So I think someone just found out this undercover guy was who he was, so they had to extract him. And then they're just find out these terrorists weren't there to do that. They were there to get what the heck were those inventions called that they're getting the whole dang movie?
Yeah, I don't remember what they called them. The like whatever the 8-9 pieces for that guy to get. Yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah, they had to get that. Apparently, they're there for a piece or something, and to kill everyone for some reason. And then he gets like captured, and they're pulling out his teeth next in the train yard. That was a pretty cool scene. I liked that. And turns out that was just a test by this government agency. Like the train was, the other part was a real event.
Yeah.
And then they captured him at the end of his mission when everyone else on his mission died. So that's kind of fucked up. You're there and you take this guy away, but the CIA mission failed. Anyways, and he's like, he decides to kill himself rather than fold while getting his teeth pulled. And so that gets you in, buddy. You did it. And he's like, "You guys pulled out my teeth." He's like, "Yeah, but we fixed them." Come on, man. Got some nice pearlies in there. Yeah. Plot is just nuts. And then like the sound mix, like you said, I've heard it's a bit a problem with the mix of the movie, not necessarily the Blu-ray. But you wouldn't notice it as much in a theater because it's so loud that you're gonna hear the talking. But yeah, it was a bit overwhelming. I had to crank up my sound system so loud. Jesse was pissed, and because I wanted to hear everything. But it was a ride to watch this movie, like with my ass rumbling from my sub. Like, dude, it was awesome. I loved it. Like the plane wrecking into the building, and then that crazy score. It was awesome. Loved it.
Yeah, there's some really cool set pieces. And there was a moment when I was watching it last night, I kind of, chuckled under my breath because this movie not only has one heist planning montage, it has two heist planning montages, and to elaborate, if people don't know kind of what I'm talking about, but, in the heist movie, you always have those heist montages where the characters are sitting around a table or they're on location scouting the heist and they're just talking about what they're going to do. And yeah, most movies have one and they have the heist. This movie has two of those scenes. And I thought that was kind of funny. Like, damn, we're doing two of these heists.
That heist? Damn. Wait, what's this? What are the two heists then? The one is
the paint at the airport with the painting. And then the second one is to extract 24, 20, what was it? 241?
241.
Whatever that little plutonium thing was on the highway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That one very much reminded me of like Dark Knight. That heist, like all of his, I don't know, just it read like that to me. It read like something that Batmobile would do, or some crazy set piece he would have in one of those movies. He always has them, but I don't know why. But I love Batman, so it just flew in my head. That first heist, man, with the paintings and stuff, dude, that was sick.
That was cool. I
love that scene. And then, like I was saying to you, I have so much more appreciation for the way this is filmed after watching the making of, because they have to film the protagonist going forward. They have to film the protagonist doing the whole thing going backwards. And when I say going backwards, they're not filming it backwards. They know the choreography and they trained the actor to do it backwards in real life, so they could get a kind of cool effect by reversing that, because he's already going backwards. And so forwards, backwards, and I think and then you got to do forwards and backwards for the other character, because some of these characters are in the scene twice and we don't know, but they are. And so that was pretty freaking awesome. And the fights look pretty sweet. Some of it looks kind of weird. It seems like every punch in it is like backwards or something, because it's kind of it's got this weird. But
I was telling you that if it wasn't for the score, I think some of these fights would come off a little silly. But the fact that the score is so fucking good and so immersive, it kind of makes you believe what's happening. Because there are the choreography is really inventive and something that we haven't seen before. But at the same time, it can look a little silly.
Yeah, some of it starts to look like they're weightless, doesn't it? And it looks like their punches don't really have any gravity. You know what I mean? Kind of looks like they're just whipping people, and the overall it's really great. I still don't quite understand.
So I asked Sarah this after the movie. I guess I'll ask you. I think she had a pretty good plot summary, but what do you think? Ignore all the intricacies of time and reverse and all that, but what do you think the plot of the movie is at a basic level?
The plot of the movie is the main character discovers that the past is being targeted by the future for termination. The future is using operatives in the past to set up their plan into motion, and a team must form now to stop the threat from ever happening. That's kind of what I got.
That's basically what Sarah got too. It was almost not verbatim what you said, but basically, an organization from the future hires some people from the past to prevent the past from being erased by some Russian, I don't even know what you call him, villain.
Yeah, it's like an arms dealer, time dealer.
There you go.
That's pretty cool stuff, man. Like he became rich because the future chose him because he was in Russia at the perfect time where this warhead blew up, and they needed these. They apparently they need nuclear facilities to hide these devices, right? I guess because they're radioactive, and those have the highest security, so they felt they were safest there. So they get this guy and they make him rich, and they promise him all this stuff. And I like that kind of stuff where he's got a time capsule he buries, and then it's instantly full of gold because the future got it. That's kind of cool, man. Really interesting. So we talk about some of the things we liked or didn't like. I'm sure we'll get more into plot in a minute. Oh, and like the discovery later on during the movie, you discover that the art heist is kind of different than you originally. So we kind of get the art heist twice. kind of rehashes it, and then with a new angle the second time, that blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the fuck?
Well, it's cool because in the first time it sets up something that, you know, in the original heist, there are moments that happen that you kind of just go with and don't make sense. For instance, like when they're fighting the first time, the guy he's fighting gets shot out of a garage door, and you're like, okay, whatever, that was weird. And then an hour and a half later into the movie, you see that again, and the reason why, but you see it in a different angle in a different time, and he's being blown into the garage into a fight. I don't know. It's so cool to see how he did that.
Yeah, and I literally, when they revealed who that character was, had a what the fuck moment. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, that's nuts. I love it. And then it plays the whole thing again from a different perspective. Like, dude, it's the same fucking scene. I don't care. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sarah and I called it a little early because you see Robert Pattinson the first time you see Robert Pattinson take a mask off, and then he has like a look on his face, and then he lets the guy go. And we were kind of like, that's probably them in the future kind of deal, but it ended up being the case. But it didn't detract from how great it was.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. Oh yeah, Robert. Let's get to Robert. Robert was pretty awesome in this movie.
Yeah, he's great.
Loved his character. Thought he did really well. It's cool to see him do really well in a Christopher Nolan movie when he's about to play Batman.
Yeah,
it's like man, I wish Christopher would just do more Batman movies.
Right.
Do 3 more, man.
I've been singing Robert's praises for a while. I mean, I haven't seen the Twilight, so I know that he's in those, and people hate those movies.
I remember when Twilight came out. You were like, dude, this guy's something. He's got something. You were like, you should see his abs glisten in the sun. This guy's on it.
No, I'm trying to think what really. I think it was a movie called Good Time. It's like an indie movie. The guys who did Uncut Gems, the Adam Sandler movie that came out recently, they had a movie called Good Time that he's in. But yeah, then I just started kind of going down the rabbit hole of, because he does a lot of good indie stuff. There's a movie he did called The Lighthouse, which I thought was great. There's another movie he did called High Life, which is a space movie, which is great. But anyways, it was good to see him shine in a big budget movie. I feel like he hasn't done something really big budget in a while. Yeah, I thought he was great.
Yeah, he's been definitely sticking to that indie stuff. So it's kind of weird to see him in this, but really cool. I'm sure he just won. I don't know why he chose this, but it's a really cool script. I'm sure. Yeah. Read this bad boy, and you're like, okay, this is different.
Yeah, and it's Christopher Nolan. How do you say no to that?
Yeah, and oh my god, watching the making of, dude, this whole movie is almost practical effects. I love it, and it looks so real and visceral because of it. Like they're building 3rd scale buildings, miniatures, full scale, cutting in all the footage together. Just everything looked so awesome. They were literally driving cars backwards. They're not reversing tape. They did some of that to give some effects, but they like reversed transmissions in cars and made them so that they could drive at full speed backwards. Really, really cool shit.
Yeah, I heard their crew built the biggest set in film history. I don't know what it is. I didn't look into it because I was trying not to spoil myself, but I remember seeing a headline of like Tenet builds the biggest set in film history type of deal.
It's the mine. The last part where they go down there and they have the gate and everything.
Gotcha.
That's the biggest one. It's like the sets here with the door and the walkway, but then the other part, like the huge chasm and water and cave, like that's all built.
Damn.
Like it was crazy to see that. Anything else jump at you that you liked or disliked about it?
Yeah, I guess we've talked a lot of the things that we liked. I can get to some things I didn't, but just I guess some more bullet points of things that I liked. You know, even though I didn't fully grasp the story, I think the movie's entertaining enough to where it was entertaining. But yeah, I guess some things I didn't like. I think that the movie lacks any sort of like emotional core or like a any sort of like themes to grasp. Some of those movies are the greatest, where you walk out and you're like, oh, they movie about love or hate or whatever, a message the movie's trying to give you. I didn't feel emotionally connected to this movie at all. I think this movie is just pure spectacle, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think I would have liked a little bit more heart or more emphasis on something for me to grasp onto other than just crazy time stuff. Um, what else? Oh, I think the movie's a little too long and too convoluted at points. I think it probably could have been shortened down a little bit. And I think for better or for worse, this movie, like from minute one, from second one to the end, like this movie just goes. Like there's not a whole lot of breathing room. And to their credit, it makes for an entertaining 2.5 hours. But I almost kind of wish the movie would slow down just a little bit, whether it's in the middle or the end, or just to give us some room to breathe to kind of grasp these concepts. Because the movie kind of like gives you these concepts, but then immediately moves on to the next thing and the next thing, and then they kind of slow down a little bit to give you more exposition, and then we're on to the next thing. It's like it's hard for us to grasp everything that's going on because everything is happening so fast. So it would have been nice to kind of have the movie slow down just a little bit. But at the same time, it's a fucking thrill ride from beginning to end. So
yeah, I
hard
don't
to
think
complain
you're.
about that. But
I don't think you're supposed to understand it. At least, probably not the first couple times. I mean, they say in the movie when they're trying to explain some of this stuff, she tells the protagonist, "Don't try to understand this." It's like, just know it is. Don't try to understand it. It's like the movie. Don't try to understand the plot. Just enjoy it. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was long at first because I couldn't watch it in one night. It's like, fuck, this thing is long. I'm gonna have to go to bed. But then watching it again during the day, yeah, it breezes by because it's so brisk. I like the pacing. I don't mind that there's no big emotional caveats in it. I kind of find that refreshing. I don't have to be like, oh my god, all this lovey-dovey or just emotional stuff. They kind of try and do it a little bit with the lady, the Russian arms dealer's wife.
Oh yeah, she's kind of a throwaway character a little bit.
And the child. I mean, during one thing, she's like, well, the whole time is about to be done, right? It's like they're not stopping the end of the world; they're stopping the end of like every world, every time ever, right? It's like it's bigger than like a nuclear holocaust is what they keep bringing up. And then she found out he was kind of lying to her. She's like, you don't care about me and you have no care about my son. I was like, they're trying to bring in the son. I was like, your son? It's like, lady, the whole world's going to fucking be gone out of existence. And you're still worried about your son. I just thought it was a little ridiculous. It's like, yeah, we get it. You have a son. You keep trying to bring it up, and that's your motivation. But
yeah,
the motivation for the movie is a lot bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her characters. I thought she was pretty cool. Kind of weird that she's so tall, though, right? They always make actresses seem shorter if they're tall. But this one, they even said in the special features, they're like, let's just go for it. Who cares?
Yeah, it was. I noticed that in the first scene together, they do the over the shoulder, and like her shoulders at the top of the screen, and his head's down here. And normally they put an actor in like an apple box or something to kind of even it out.
Yeah, get your
I just thought
shine
that was
box.
kind of silly, like that they didn't care about it. It's like, oh, she's tall and he's short.
He is pretty short in comparison. I guess she's 6'3" though, so.
Yeah, but I guess going back to the things that I love how this movie like sets a bunch of things up and they all pay off. Like that's one of my favorite things.
I was going to bring that up too.
And just in general, I love that. Even in just normal drama movies or action movies, that when a screenwriter can set something up and then pay it off later, it makes me clap in my mind. But
you know what I loved? The new Star Wars movie where everything paid off. It's like nothing paid off in Star Wars. This movie, everything pays off. It was awesome. All these callbacks, all those payoffs. Yeah, those are really enjoyable. I wanted to mention those too.
Yeah. It's like, you know, at the beginning of the movie, they kind of teach you or explain to you at a basic level the idea of reverse objects. And then I think the
Inversion.
inversion, and the first time you actually, because you only see him kind of lift up a bullet or like have a bullet go back into the gun type of deal. So it kind of starts out basic, and then the first time you actually see it play out, he walks into this room and there's bullet holes in this glass, and there's like, I think there's maybe blood on the floor or something, and you're like, huh.
Yeah.
And then 10 seconds later it pays off with like that event happening before he got in that room playing out in
Yeah.
reverse. I don't know, it was really cool.
Yeah. Right. Mind fuck.
Or like
And
even in the second heist during the highway, where like we're in the middle of this crazy dramatic scene, like the villain's got a gun to the wife's head and they're trying to do the exchange, and he looks forward and there's a car tumbling, and you don't really know why it's tumbling or what the hell's going on, and then you don't really think about it. You're just, that was weird. And then 20 minutes later you go back to that scene and realize that it's I don't know, there's little cool payoffs like that.
yeah. And then they keep doing these thing where it's called this. I don't remember what it's called. A time maneuver where they send someone backwards in time and have a forwards in time person. You know, where they like the bad
Yeah.
guys did it and then the good guys did it at the very end. They had like Team Red was going backwards or something. Team Blue was going forwards, and they were
Hmm.
like doubles, like the same person, but it's me going on a mission forwards, and then we have me going on a mission backwards at the same time.
Yeah, it's weird.
It was pretty cool to see how that played out. And it was pretty cool, like during the briefing, like, well, who's the other team? Like somebody asks, and that's none of your business. And the other team is fucking them.
Yeah.
Same exact group of people. And they make up these. They kind of have these weird rules they make up about going backwards in time, which I didn't mind, but I thought they were weird. Like, you got to cover yourself up. If you touch your, past self, you'll just explode or something. I think they said
Mm.
it would cease to exist if you touch your other person. So that gives them a reason to have some of these characters covered up in clothes, so you don't know who they are till later reveals.
Hmm.
And then you need your own oxygen. So I think that's another thing for them to have a differentiator of who's in actual time and who's, from the future,
Yeah.
because I have the oxygen mask. It's like your lungs can't absorb the normal oxygen. I was like, why? Is the
Hmm.
oxygen different? And I don't. Were they getting oxygen? You have to have your own oxygen, right? So they have a tank. Is the tank from the future and it's inverted? Is that why they can breathe it? I just didn't quite get that.
I don't know. I guess so. Yeah.
Because then you're going to run out of oxygen, right? You got
Yeah.
to bring back all this inverted ass oxygen with you. So I did,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot going on. I mean, there's time travel that's in there. Like there's a time travel machine, and like that on top of this inverted technology where it's like, wait, what? I don't know. There's a lot going on in this movie.
Yeah, I kind of thought this movie was just going to be almost like a John Woo. Just the gimmick was things going backwards, like you're sucking up bullets into guns. I
Hmm.
didn't, I did not realize it was a time travel movie, which makes me like it even more. Like I love a good time travel tale, um, that has good rules. You stay within your own rules, and it seems plausible. They don't do them very often. They used to. I feel like they used to get into this time travel stuff a lot more in movies, but it is difficult to write. Terminator's a great one. Back to the Future, of course. Time Cop, love that one. But yeah, they don't do it very much anymore. And I thought this was Looper. I thought was a very interesting way to do it. I thought this is a super interesting way to do it. Love some time travel stuff, and this one
Yeah,
did it pretty well.
they do it in a really interesting, like visuals with color with the time, because like one side of, because there's the time machine, but it's in two, at least the way they portray it, they're in two rooms, and one is almost always in like red and the other one is always in like a blue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I don't know, I thought that was kind of a little cool visual, or this red and blue of like who's in the past, who's in the future.
Yeah, and it's like always like two versions.
Hmm.
It's not, you're not just like going back in time. It's like when you go back, I think because then you're in the same room again.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. But I've never seen anything like that, so it's super interesting, compelling. Really liked it.
I was happy. Another thing, I almost had one of those come on moments, like at the very end. I'm so glad they didn't do it, but it's at the very end. They just won the day, and the three heroes that are standing out in the sand, and then one of them pulls or yanks the stuff out of the protagonist's hands and puts a gun at him, and I'm like, are we really doing a double cross? Like I thought it was going to be like they were working for the guy or whatever, because it kind of felt that way, you know. And
Yeah.
I thought that Robert Pattinson was going to be bad and there's going to be a double cross kind of deal. And luckily they didn't do that. And I was so happy because I almost had that. I was like, come on, dude. That's so fucking stupid. But I'm so happy he didn't do that.
Yeah. That was a pretty good ending, though, because I mean, they did mention earlier in the movie, if you see one of these things or something, you have to die.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the information's too precious. But that guy was actually being nice and letting them live and say, go hide your piece, I'll hide mine. If I ever see you, I will kill you. I'm supposed to do it right now, but I'll do
Which
it
I
later.
don't know if you know this, but that's Kick-Ass. I thought he was great in this role. I mean, he's a small role, but I thought he was great.
Oh, is it? Well,
yeah, it's Kick-Ass. And the guy, I think he's in Godzilla too.
More like ass Bryan Cranston kicked. One. Yeah, kick ass. All right. Yeah, I did not notice that at all. Well, I don't know what else to talk about with this movie.
Yeah, I think we'll be rewatching this movie many times, or at least some scenes.
I wanted to mention that to you. It's a good point. You said you didn't love it, you didn't hate it. I think you'll like it more moving forward. I like it. I watched it the first time. It was kind of meh on it. Watched it the second time, and then watched the bonus features. And now I think I really like it.
Yeah.
After that, like I needed some time to marinate, and I needed some more info on it. But now I think I really like it.
That's what's kind of. I mean, it does. I will admit, it does suck that we couldn't experience this on a massive screen, because I think I would have loved to see this on an IMAX screen, because it was. I think he made it for that purpose. So it is kind of a bummer. But at the same time, it is cool that we have this movie just available, because can you imagine going to the theater and watching this and then just being like, fuck, now I have to wait 3 months to rewatch and try to figure it out. Now we can just jump back into it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the reviews might be less favorable for a theater release of this, because I didn't like it as much the first time I watched it.
Yeah,
you know, because you walk out of the theater like, what the, I don't know if I really liked it. It was okay movie. But now that we have it just at home and we can rewatch it and get questions answered and stuff,
yeah,
I think I like it more. Because could you imagine somebody walking out of the theater the first time, and I could see people saying and telling their friends it wasn't that good.
Yeah,
because the first time maybe it didn't lock you in, and I don't know why that is. Probably because there's just so much information coming at you, and the spectacle of it keeps you going though. Because you're like, oh, it was it was a pretty cool movie. I didn't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of like how we all felt after Inception. Only I think this is kind of magnified a little bit. But I mean, to even though I didn't understand probably a fraction of what this movie is trying to hand me, it was fun to, like, Sarah and I were just sitting on the couch as the credits were rolling, just kind of like piecing it together. Like it was just like, even just talking about it with you, like it's one of those movies that's fun to kind of like see what other people got, or like yeah. It's always a good sign of a good movie when you can sit there and talk about it.
Definitely. So yeah, I think it's another hit for Nolan. I don't know. Time will tell where it ranks amongst his movies, but
yeah, I think it's up there. But I don't think it's like top 3, but I think it's definitely up there.
But if I had to put a number on it, 1 to 10 right now, I probably have no problem giving this an 8 in my mind right now. I really liked it. It's up there. It's definitely like a B, like top tier of movies. I wouldn't not hesitate to recommend this movie to a friend or anyone that I knew that liked this type of movie at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would probably give it the same. I think 7, or 9. I think 9's a little too high, but
yeah, me too.
But yeah, I think 8's a good sweet spot for this. And yeah, I would highly recommend it if you haven't seen it yet and you're a Christopher Nolan fan, rent it or buy it. Well, I guess you can't rent it, but do whatever you can to watch it. It's fun.
Oh, are they not doing a rental thing
No,
now?
actually, that was my original plan. Because again, I didn't know if I wanted to own this movie because that mixed reviews thing I saw months ago kind of got me like, oh, do I want to? Because what if I hate it and I just spent $40 on this fucking Blu-ray? Um, or buying it. Anyways, my original intent was to rent it, and then if I really liked it, I was just going to buy it. But when I went on to, I think it was Xbox and Amazon, that just said buy UHD for $20 or whatever. There was no rental option. I was
Hmm.
like, well, in that case, if I have to buy it, I'm not going to watch it on fucking Amazon. Might as well just buy the disc. I'm happy I did.
I hope you didn't pay $40 for it.
It was either 30 or 40. I don't remember which. It's probably
Okay,
30. I think it's $29.99.
good, good. Every time I buy a 4K Blu-ray, I do the old search the internet for the cheapest price,
Mm-hmm.
typically Amazon, and then I just go to my local Fred Meyer and price match it, and typically $29.99 is what I get them for,
Yeah.
because the MSRP on these things can be crazy sometimes for a 4K Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
49, 39. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
$30 is pushing it for me to buy a movie, but I guess it is quite a bit. You get the Blu-ray, you get the 4K Blu-ray, you get a digital copy.
Yeah.
It actually has special features. Some movies don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a pretty good package for this one.
Agreed. What is your favorite Nolan movie?
Mm, probably have to be Dark Knight
Dark Knight.
or Inception or this. I think these three probably
Yeah.
rotate, but probably Dark Knight's number one.
Yeah.
But I do really like Inception, and I am starting to really like this movie more and more. I think about it.
Yeah, I
Like,
definitely want to rewatch it again for sure. If not the whole thing, I want to rewatch probably the first 30 minutes with subtitles on because like I said, it was so hard to understand and things are happening so fast. Like even when we talked about the beginning, I think neither one of us mentioned that he was there to extract somebody, but then he actually doesn't. Because when he gets back into the van, his handler is like, "You brought the wrong guy," and he shoots the other guy. So I'm like, "What happened to the guy he was supposed to?" Like, it all happens so fast. I'm
yeah,
like, "What the
right.
fuck even happened?"
Good
But
point.
so yeah, there's some scenes I want to rewatch again. But yeah, I can't wait to dig back into it, watch some of the special features, and
Yeah, I think Dark Knight being my favorite is kind of a lame pick. Kind of that. Oh, of course, you picked Dark Knight, but
it's a classic, man.
I
It's
thought
the
that
number one for a reason.
I thought that was an amazing film, and then it's a Batman film as well.
Yeah,
So it's just like two amazing things together. I never thought we'd get a Batman that was done so like uh seriously as a movie, not a comic book movie. Like they made this as a movie, and
hmm
it's just the performances. Like of course Heath in there is just amazing.
yeah, it's a good pick.
The bats. Okay, I think that's all we got, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
So you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Definitely recommend going checking it out. You got to buy it apparently though, so be
Yeah,
prepared for that. But give it a shot. Trust me. I think you're gonna like it even more. You see it, and um, definitely really cool spectacle movie. If you got a big TV and a sound system, this is like a one of those movies that you show your friends on it. Like Terminator used to be. Like
hmm
T2 for a long time was like the home theater like show off piece. You pop T2 on with the
yeah,
and it was just like I remember that for the longest time that was like the show off. This is another one of those.
hmm
Uh, show your friends your sound system in your TV movie. So you could have it
yeah.
for that, and then it's a pretty good movie too.
hmm
So
Word.
definitely recommend. Um, thank you guys for watching, and then of course I know you've all seen. We started the Facebook group for our Bryan versus Bryan. We wanted to do that so we could post some little updates and things like that didn't require a full video, and then we could talk to you guys more immediately, and then a YouTube video. So check that out. Send it to your friends. Tell your friends about this show. Like and subscribe. Oh, and I just wanted to mention real quick that Van Damme video is still killing it, bro. I have no idea. It's so crazy. It's probably already hit 2,000 views. It was well on its way. I keep looking, thinking like, oh, 1,000, and then it's just more and more every time I look.
Let me give you a real-time update here. 2,118.
Damn, bro.
Our last video had 34.
I really wish that was a legitimate view score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The people that don't know, we made the Van Damme video. Check it out. And it's our most popular video we've ever made for reasons known and unknown to us. We got a sneaking suspicion it's just Van Damme is that popular, and people search his name and see our cool picture and click on it thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna get some Van Damme today. And then they see us talking and they quickly leave. But we got that view from you. Joke's on you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
We got that Brazil view.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was just still killing it. We got to do another one like that. We got to find brainstorm something that will get that big just from the name and the picture, right. And try and beat Van Damme. So good.
It's gotta be like Jackie Chan or fucking Schwarzenegger or Stallone, one of those kind of guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would just be a clickbait. Stallone unreleased Arnold fight. 4 million views.
Yeah.
So anyways, check that video out. That was a fun video. I liked the Van Damme.
Yeah, that was really fun.
But I'm not stupid. I know it's not 2,000 good. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. That's super funny to me. It just keeps going. So we'll see you next week when it's at 3,000. So yeah, you guys have a great day. Check out this movie. Definitely loved Tenet. Really good. I think we both agree that it's easily a solid 8. Maybe you could do a 7 point something, but it's in that range. That's a very good score. So go check it out. Thanks for listening. Like always, come check out all our videos and all that. And we really enjoy talking with each other and having you guys join us. So that's really fun. Like we always said, we'd hope something would become of this, but even if it never did, it's just super fun and take an hour each week to talk to you, buddy, and catch up. So that's awesome.
Agreed.
All right. Episode 20, Tenet. See you guys.
All right. Peace.
Later.